Hey guys, welcome to Cricket Fanatics magazine, and this is your podcast show. Wow, as you guys can see in the comment section, the IPL has gone completely mental. I've never actually ever seen a double super over in one match, which is quite incredible. Quentin de Kock couldn't make the runs. It was 2 of 1 needed. He couldn't make the second run to win the game, and it's gone to another super over. Generally speaking, what happens then at that point is that they can't use the same bowlers and the same batsmen. So we'll have to see what happens now with this match. I'm live with you guys, so I'm not keeping a track on it. So you guys can let me know in the comment section what you guys think. We'll have Aditya come on the show a little later to give us a quick update about what is going on in this match. Obviously, what happened over this weekend. But wow, I mean, this is absolutely crazy. I can see you guys in the comments talking about it already. Lubabalo, excellent point. The IPL must end now. Bowlers will be tired and injured by the time it gets to the playoffs. There's so many matches. It's unbelievable in such a short space of time. Now we understand why when Quentin was playing IPL and really when KG was playing IPL and he got injured last season, how important that was to obviously, or how detrimental that was to the South Africa's World Cup campaign. Another super over, of course. Jessica saying, but then again, it's 2020, so expect the unexpected, which is 100% correct. I mean, that is what's going on. But let's just start with this until I wait for my callers to come on. We have different guests on for you today that's going to be calling onto the show. Let's see what happens. I want to know, how's your guys' weekend been? What have you guys been up to? What did you guys get up to? Obviously, I've just been watching sport all weekend. It's been a crazy weekend for sport. The Premier League is on a whole different level with regards to the excitement, with regards to the closeness of games. I think City and United are the only 2 games to have won a game this last weekend, which is incredible. The IPL has been insane. Everything's gone to the wire. We have AB de Villiers pull one out of the hat, obviously. In this particular game now, you can see these 3 super overs are going to happen today. So it's crazy in one day that you get that opportunities to able to see that, and that's what makes, and like Jordan L says, that's what makes the IPL great to watch. It's changed cricket, and there will be some guys that will say no, they don't like IPL cricket. They're purists and they love the pure form of the game. And then you'll get guys, I think, like me, that just likes all the formats, and I enjoy all parts of cricket. Yes, I prefer Test cricket, but I do have a lot of fun in the T20 games as well. Let's start off the show by bringing on Abai. I'm going to get Abai on. He's going to be basically holding the fort with me until the other callers come on. How's it, Abai?
All good here. How are you doing?
Good on you, man. It's the first time we're talking to each other alone on the screen. So that's something new. All the people in the comment section, please, before we get started and start talking about every single thing, we saw that 49% of you guys that are watching all the videos are not subscribed to the channel. So, guys, please get subscribed right now. Just click the subscribe bell and click the notification bell, please. You'll get notifications of all the live streams, all the videos we upload, etc. You don't want to miss anything. It's going to be a jam-packed cricket season, and we will obviously give you as much coverage as possible. So bye. It's been crazy, but let's not talk about the IPL yet because we're just waiting for Aditya to join. He's history being made at the moment in the IPL. I mean, I've never seen 2 super overs in one match before. It's crazy.
It's unbelievable. Yeah.
How was your weekend though, bro? How was things for you back there at home?
Yeah, it's not bad. I've just been on the busier side with assignments and whatnot, but yeah, I've been able to make time to do various fun things. But so far so good, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna bring on Lubabalo again. I'm really excited to see him again. Lubabalo, welcome to the show. I can see the tagline over there.
Has I finished the IPL already?
Yeah, that's what he says. Finish the IPL already.
Yeah.
Hi guys, how's it?
Awesome, brother. How are you doing?
Good, thanks, and how are you guys?
No, good. It's actually a good weekend for me. I enjoyed my weekend. Obviously, I was smiling if Man United pull out a win. So that's why I'm smiling here. From your perspective, how was your weekend, Lubabalo? What did you get up to?
Yo, I had a long one. I've been umpiring since Friday until today. I'm sure you guys can see my face. I'm a bit tired, but yeah, I enjoyed it. It was actually nice being on the cricket field, even though I wasn't
Mm,
playing. But it was nice
yeah.
just being there on the field after so long.
Yeah, tell me about that experience. What is it like to be out there umpiring again and obviously seeing guys in action? What games were you umpiring?
On Friday, our academy we had it was sort of an internal game. But we also had a couple of kids from other academies too. So we had 22 players on the day. It was a 30 over match. It was basically just to see where the kids are in terms of the skill sets. And the things that they've been practicing throughout the private coaching. It was nice. I really enjoyed it. It was good to see the kids playing again. They also had fun. And
Mm,
then on Saturday, there's a social league that the academy sort of organized. So it was one of those fun games. Guys who stopped playing cricket ages ago, they just came on and played. It was it,
yeah.
it, it was fun, but you know, guys don't like being when you stick. Guys are gonna complain. But I really enjoyed it. It was it was nice.
Yeah, no, and it's really good to see that again. Because obviously we want to see cricket back in action. It's good that we can see, obviously, like you said, academies and all of those people going back in action again. We want to see that again. It's so good to have that. Um, Abai, you didn't tell me what you got up to besides studying. Did you do anything in between for breaks?
Well, let's see. I think I told you about HQ. I play that every single day. It's pretty fun. I had a horrible day yesterday.
Oh,
I
seven.
lost on the fourth question, and yeah, it was terrible. But yeah, this morning I did watch uh, the part of Mumbai versus Kings 11. I actually stepped outside just when the Super Over was going to begin. So
Hmm.
pretty eventful so far.
Yeah. So, as we know, we're gonna get Aditya on the show to give us his quick review of everything that happened in the IPL. But I mean, we might as well get stuck into the topic of today. That is obviously the very controversial topic on Chris Morris, whether he should be walk back into the South African side, whether he should be the first choice on the team sheet. But let me be the devil's advocate over here and try to give both sides. Now we've got two guys over here on the screen. I'm hoping that your views are opposing. I'm not sure what you guys are going to say, but let's get a little debate going. Abai, let's start with you, and then we can go to Lobabalo with the rebuttal.
Well, for starters, I don't believe Chris Morris has a contract with CSA, but every time you see these players perform, it just goes to show that you've got to be open minded and you got to be eager to see how these guys go. Like if you take AB de Villiers for example, like around the World Cup time, I wasn't feeling so sure, but then I saw him perform in the IPL both last year and now this year, and I'm starting to feel more open minded that yeah he should get a chance, and if he happens to do well enough, I think um, it's worth bringing him in to the World T20 squad. So that's my take on AB, and I think being consistent, I've got to be consistent. So I would say Morris has definitely done well enough on his comeback in this IPL, and I would like to see him uh, in the squad for the next international T20 series and see how he fares there, and we can take it from there on.
Okay, and Lubabalo, what is your point? So we've got Abai with the next T20 series. Let's see Morris in action. What is your take?
Um, yeah, with Chris Morris, I don't know. I think a lot of people, maybe we have short memories or something. Chris Morris he hasn't really struggled to bowl in the IPL. In fact, in T20 tournaments in general, he's hardly ever struggled. I think he has a record in SA, most economical spell. I think it was for the Lions, if I'm not mistaken, in the Ram Slam. So he's someone that's always bowled well in the T20 leagues when he's playing. But now compare how he's bowled for the Proteas and compare that with how he's bowling for Virat Kohli's IPL team. It's almost like AB, to be honest. We all know how AB sets the stage alight in the IPL, and then when it comes to playing for SA in T20 internationals, and we sort of see a different AB de Villiers. I've got nothing against Chris Morris. I've watched a couple of overs of his bowled well, but with him, I just feel he's a wax on, wax off kind of guy most of the time. He's gonna mop the floor for you, and then he's gonna walk on it just before it dries up. I'm sure you guys understand what I
mean. Oh my god!
Yeah, he's an X factor, no doubt. He's one of the players, game changer. But how often does he change the game? How often has he changed the game for SA? I'm sure we can't even count more than 3 times he's won the match for us in T20 cricket. And I also believe we are at that point in our cricket where we cannot afford to go back to guys that decided they want to walk away. We know Chris Morris apparently didn't avail himself, which is probably why he didn't even get a contract. I don't know. But we know that he hasn't been getting selected because he did not avail himself for selection. So now, let's say he decides, for whatever reason, he wants to be available. I don't mind having him in the squad, to be honest, but he wouldn't be my first option.
Can I jump in real quick?
Yeah, go ahead, Abad.
Okay, yeah, so I don't believe Chris Morris has walked away from international cricket. I think he's kind of on hiatus, but then again, I think, as I mentioned earlier, open-mindedness can pay off, and I think considering how he's done in the IPL, and I think I mentioned earlier in a previous live stream that if we look at the quality of the IPL and compare that to that of international cricket, it's almost the same. Like the squad strengths, the playing 11 strengths, it's almost comparable to international cricket. So if you see someone perform in the IPL, that should be a good sign for what might be to come in international cricket. So I think with that regard, I think Chris Morris is definitely worth giving a chance. And as much as he hasn't really single-handedly won the game, I think he still has a potential to. I mean, we've seen him strike some big blows and take wickets and bowl economically towards the end of the innings. So I still think there's something there in him, and he's worth a try.
Okay, that's an interesting point. Do you have a rebuttal on that, Lubabalo?
Yeah. I think before we say he has potential, we need to remember that he's 33 years of age now. So I don't know how long that potential is still going to be there. But yeah, I don't agree with the IPL being close to international cricket. We need to remember you only face 4 international cricketers. Is it 4? I think, yeah, it's 4. You only face 4 international cricketers. And then you have guys that sort of have potential, but we don't know how they would fare in T20 in international cricket because they've not played international cricket. So I feel Abai is basing his opinion based on the potential that he's seeing from the Indian players, which is a fair argument. But I'd say it's based more on assumption because you're thinking, okay, this bloke is doing well in the IPL, and then there's guys like AB playing in the IPL. But look at the kind of bowlers. Let's say for 2 matches, how many quality bowlers does an Indian youngster get to face in those 2 matches? Because there aren't even a lot of them that are batting in the top 3, if I'm not mistaken. So it's mostly international players who've played international cricket that occupy the top 3 of each IPL team. So I don't see how we can even say we're comparing the IPL to international cricket. Because if it was even close to that, AB de Villiers would be able to have the same numbers that he has in the IPL in international cricket too.
Yeah. So let's exactly, and you can look at the international average of AB compared to his averages for the for franchises that he plays for. 27 compared to like 40, 50 plus for other franchises. I'm gonna pull up Chris Morris stats quickly for you guys, and this is the stats that you can see on the screen. His averages for all teams that he's played for. It's all in the high 20s. And when you go for South Africa, it's a little bit lower. So funny enough, so in the T20 game, his economy is 8.39, taken 34 wickets. So bowled about 498 balls. So it's crazy that his stats seem very consistent with regards to all the places that he's played for, etc., etc. So T20 seems to be the place where he actually does show his true potential. But from the outside, I'm going to look in and be the devil's advocate again. You guys are both making interesting points. Do you believe that South Africa can risk having an inconsistent type of X factor type of player at number 7? Or are they more in need of a guy that can actually bat there in that position? Who wants to go first?
I think, yeah, I think Morris is definitely capable of batting at number 7, and I think he brings to the table some more balance to the side. I mean, if we were to look at how in recent times Andile Bekluguayo has performed, he hasn't really been that good with the bat, but from time to time he's been good with the ball. I think in that regard, Chris Morris is kind of a more well-rounded player, and I'm really curious to see how he'll go for South Africa when given the chances.
So now we must also remember, I think, Lobabalo, I think it's almost over a year till the next World Cup. So
And it'll be held in India.
And it will be held in India. So you'll be a year older as well by that time. Do we get to see? So we've got some guys over here saying in the comment section. Ayanda said, for example, Triple definitely worth a shot. I mean, he's 33, might be his last chance, and with the T20 World Cup in India, it will benefit us. That's what he thinks. I want to talk to you about that inconsistencies. That's what you see with Chris Morris, because I mean, in some of the games, his stats looks really great, but I mean, when I look at his wicket overs, some of the balls doesn't matter what type of balls you bowl to get wickets, because I mean, I've seen him take a lot of wickets with full tosses. He gets to bowl in times where he's the main kind of type of strike bowler. For RCB, for example, he gets to do those type of things. If for South Africa, he's going to have to sit back, I feel, to KG and Anadich and Lungi, I'm talking about with regards to being the main bowler in the side. So he's going to have to. I don't see us picking Chris Morris, Lungi, Anadich, and KG in a side. What do you think about that?
Let's go. I'll start with the type of balls that he gets wickets off. Maybe it doesn't really matter, but to be honest, it does matter when it comes to international cricket. We need to ask ourselves a question. Let's say we play against India. How many of those balls would get wickets against India? So I think I'm not sure I'm willing to go with the 30-year-old that's inconsistent over a 20-something-year-old that's inconsistent, to be honest. I feel Chris Morris he's gone. He's a really good cricketer, and on his day he can win you a match. But I also agree with you that we can't really go in with Chris, Lungi, KG, and Anna. The World Cup is in India, so surely we need 2 spinners. So from the 4 bowlers, you already have the 2 slots for spinners, and then let's say you have another slot for the all-rounder. So that's 3 bowling slots left. We know KG is guaranteed. It's definitely going to start. So that's 2 spots left. Going to India, would you play Anna and Chris on the same side? For me, when it comes to bowling, it doesn't really make sense. What is it that Chris Morris brings to the table that Enrich doesn't have? So for me, it's between the two of them. We've seen how Enrich is bowling, and with the ball, Anna is better, is slightly better than Chris at the moment. He's more consistent as well when it comes to bowling. So I don't see how we can afford to have both in the side, because a guy like Andy Lepetlukwayo, he definitely brings something different to the table. Change-up bowling is very important in T20 cricket, white ball cricket in general. The change-up bowling is very important. Chris Morris does bring pace, but KG already has that. Anna also brings the same. He also brings the pace with also his new variations. So the question would be now, how does Chris Morris add variation to the bowling attack that we already have? Mind you, Chris Morris was there when we failed to defend 200 and something against, was it 220 in India against England?
Against England, right?
Yeah, he was also there.
I remember that game.
Yeah, and there was a young Kagiso Rabada. As much as he's on form, he's doing well, but I think it's too soon for us to tell whether he's there, because it's only been he's only played 4 matches now, and I'm not sure whether 4 matches is enough for us to tell whether a player is really back into the neck of things. But I also think he doesn't add much variation. It's either him or Anna for me.
Now, the batting part of it is obviously going to come into it. When we're going to be picking, obviously, someone like Chris Morris or picking Dwayne Pretorius. I think that those are the 2 guys that will probably be fighting for the spot. I don't think that it would be necessarily Andile Pechlikwa that loses out. I think in those matches where we feel that the pitch is going to be good enough to be able to have maybe an extra seamer or so, maybe there will be one of those games where they look at the wicket and they're like, maybe we need an extra seam over here, maybe not an extra spinner. You must be able to have that balance in your side to be able to pick. So I think that having Dwayne Pretorius or Morris is going to be the call. Now, if I look at, we're going to bring up Chris's batting stats over here. We can see that here they show the matches and the innings played. Whereas in the other stat that I showed you, obviously they only showed the balls played for the bowling. But you can see strike rates are obviously going to be very important over here, which they do not show on the list. So that makes it kind of difficult for you to be able to pick. But you know that Chris Morris is the type of guy that plays at the back end and needs to take you, if you need to take you that extra bit of 20 runs that you need to take your runs out of reach, or chasing the game. If you need that extra runs in the final few overs, then you can maybe swing away and get those runs. From a batting perspective, what's your opinion on Chris Morris as a batsman?
I think Chris Morris can be a reliable finisher. I mean, I think last week's podcast I totally forgot to mention that, but I will mention it this time around because I think, looking at how he went against Kings 11 Punjab, was it 25 from 8, 25 from 7 or 8, and that helped prop up RCB to around 170. And it wasn't a match-winning score, but at least it was some sort of competitive score. So I think these short, impactful innings, they can turn the game around for sure. And I think it would be fair to trust his ability as a batsman. Okay,
Lubaba, your points?
I think when it comes to batting, we need to ask ourselves, is Chris Morris able to bat at 6? Because I think if we're going back to the point that Khalid made about needing an extra seamer, because I don't see Andile batting at 8 for a lot of matches, especially if you need the second spinner, unless your second spinner is going to be a top 6 batsman, which is highly unlikely. So between Chris Morris and Dwayne, can Chris Morris do it at 6? Because I believe Dwayne can do it at 6. Dwayne can definitely play as a batsman. He's done it at 6 before, and with the bat, he's definitely more consistent than Chris Morris.
That's true. I think Dwayne Pretorius, he once batted number 3 against Sri Lanka and scored 77 not out. So he could be used as a pinch hitter too, depending on the situation.
Yeah, you see, that's the interesting thing. You see, with Chris Morris, I feel that there's only one role he can play. It's that X Factor player, and that X Factor role where you can change a game at an instant, or you can slog away when you need to slog away. And I think that's the only role he can really play. It's not very versatile when it comes to that. Sorry, Lubabalo, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, that's true. And I'm also looking at the 5 matches that he played at 7 for SA. The scores, he only has 2 double figures in 5 innings. I'm going by the standard that we seem to be going in terms of judging him based on only 4 IPL matches. For SA, he's only played at 7 5 times. He's only batted at 7 5 times. He has a highest of 55, which is good. But you also look at the match situation as well. I also feel Chris Morris with the bat. He's someone who's going to come in and score quickly for you. But that's pretty much the only thing that he can do for you. And at 7, sometimes you are needed to try and string in just a decent inning and not just come and smash. Especially if you're batting 7 for South Africa, we know we are notorious with batting collapses recently. So for me, in that top 7, a guy like Dwayne Pretorius can definitely do it. With Chris Morris, I don't know. His overall game is not a game that you can say you can fully trust, to be honest, because you never know when he's gonna implode. You never know when he's gonna give you what the team needs, because he's on and off most of the time, which is why I'm reluctant to judge him based on those 4 IPL matches that he's played.
Yeah, it's very difficult for us to make a decision now. People are going to ask us to maybe make a decision immediately based on the IPL performances. We can't really completely just say that you're going to walk into the side just because you did one in the IPL. It's not necessarily a good way to, especially this IPL when it's not being played in India. It's also that's also
True.
That's also a point that has to be made. We've seen some crazy performances this IPL from various people and various players. So it's been quite insane. Very close games. In it for the batsmen, in it for the bowlers. Yeah, a very different pitches. Not a lot of consistency all around. The question comes in over here with whether we're going to play our spinning batsman or batting spinner. If it's a batting spinner, you're going to play him at 6. Are you going to play 3? Like, there's a particular lineup that Werner Erasmus put on the screen. He said pick Morris 7, Rabada 8, Nokia 9, Ngidi 10, Shamsi or Tahir at 11. Will we play so many fast bowlers in a match? Is that going to be the thing that we will do? Because then obviously one of the guys is going to, because all of these bowlers over here, Rabada, Nokia, Ngidi, and Shamsi bowl 4 overs. So like they 4 overs bowlers. They're not bowlers that are only bowl 2 overs for you. So like, and some of them, yeah, they're all X factor with regards to the ball. Like, I mean, one of them will take a wicket for you at any point, and I'll back them in any part of the game to take wickets for you. So if you're going to pick Morris, it's not going to be because of his bowling. You're going to pick him because of his batting, because that's why you're going to pick an all-rounder in the side. I think that's the only reason we're going to pick an all-rounder in the side. Because we have so many bowlers available to us. But then that means in the number 7, are we going to play the spinner there that can bat and then have an extra batsman? Or are we going to put given us opportunity to maybe take a bowling all-rounder like Antile that can give you 2 overs in the middle overs and slow down the game a bit for you, and bowl with a spinner, for example, with a hold up ends, and then play a bowler at 6. Can Morris play that role for you is my question. Like, I can understand as a quick bowler, striking when you need those quick wickets, that inconsistency doesn't matter because you need him to bat. He's bowling in periods where it doesn't matter if you go for a few runs, you just need a wicket. And that's the difference over here. Can Morris play that Andile Pechlekwayo role is what I want to know, where he can come in the middle overs, make sure that they don't concede a lot of runs, and then strike for you.
So in other words, like a containing bowler type, right?
Yeah, because I don't see.
Yeah, I think so. I think
I don't
he's
see
a little.
bowling at the death, because we got two of the best death bowlers in the squad already. I think in Gidi and KG are great death bowlers, both
Even
of them.
Anrich,
And Anrich has shown it now, yes, and Anrich has shown it now, and in the MSL that he can do it. So I don't see him bowling there at those last few overs. I don't. I only can see Chris Muller's bowling. If you're going to pick him on his bowling, it has to be his batting that we pick him on, is it not?
True. I think. Yeah, you can go first,
yeah.
Lubalo. Yeah, you can go first.
The point you just made now is it's one of the points that I had issues with him in Test cricket, because he's not coming in as a frontline bowler. He needs to come in as sort of a support bowler to the frontline bowlers. And if you look at how he bowled in Test cricket, sorry for going towards Test cricket for now. If you look at how he bowled, for him it was almost like he's trying to look for wickets, and that was never his job. If you're the fifth bowler in Test cricket, you're sort of there to just to get in the overs to support the bowlers. And I think in the strike bowlers, and I think in T20 cricket, it's pretty much the same thing. You won't necessarily contain, as in dry up the runs that much, but yours is to try and get the extra overs in. His job, I don't see him performing that job as a support bowler. I think he's one of those guys, if you want to play him, you'll play him as one of your main bowlers, as one of your strike bowlers. And he's a guy who needs the freedom to bowl as a strike bowler, because he tends to go for runs sometimes, which is not a bad thing if you're playing as a strike bowler. Now, if you play as a support bowler and you still go for runs, it sort of defeats the whole purpose of you playing, which is why I asked what he adds differently to guys like Anna and KG. Because if he's going to be the guy bowling in the middle overs and he's going to come and just chuck the ball at 140 plus, he might not be able to do the job. There's another thing that on that comment there. If we are taking a spinner who bats in the top six, for me it will not be JJ. I don't know, but it will not be JJ. He has played T20 cricket for SA. He only has 1 wicket. His average is 15. His strike rate is 109. So for me, if we're taking a top six batsman, top 7 batsman to the World Cup that both spin, it will not be JJ.
How about Linda or Vian Lippe?
Yeah, those are the guys that I'm willing to take chances with, because they haven't played T20 cricket for SA. Also, in that top 4, remember, there's also talks of AB coming back. So if you pick a guy like JJ, where is he going to bat? Because that top 4, you have Quinton.
He can't bat any lower than 3, in my opinion.
He can bat where?
He I don't think he can bat anywhere lower than number 3, in my opinion.
Exactly, that's the point that I'm making. That top 4, the spots are almost. Even a guy like David Miller's going to struggle to get a spot in the top 4, especially if he's coming back. Especially if he's going to come back. So now, if you're going to pick JJ, where are you going to use him? Are you going to use him as a bowler? Because I don't see him coming in at 4, at 5, 6, or 7.
So I'm going to welcome talk to the stream. Welcome, bro. You heard everything that was said. It's your first time on the show, so what do you like to say on this topic? What have you, from everything that you've heard, what is your opinion?
Yeah. Well, I've just logged in just now, so I haven't heard. I heard that it's a topic about Morris, so I'm not sure you guys what are you discussing, but I know that from what I've heard, it's basically what T20 squad. If
he should be in the side or not, based on what you've seen so far for him in the IPL.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. What we're talking about is the IPL, his form in the IPL. Does he deserve to be in the T20 squad for South Africa?
Yeah.
Okay, bro, I can't hear you. You have to sort out your connection before you come on the stream. Maybe just reset your modem before you come back on. Ayanda, so yes, we are having call-ins tonight. Sorry, guys, forgot to tell you. The link is in the description if you want to call in onto the show. And we can have a discussion, and you guys can give your opinion on what you think about this particular topic. We've got Aditya back. Oops, that's the wrong thing. We've got Aditya on the stream for you. Welcome to the show, bro.
Drum roll.
Thank you.
I think, guys, let's just take a quick break from this heated debate quickly, and just talk about the IPL for now quickly. You guys get just listen to everything that we've said, ponder everything that we said, let it soak in, then come back, call in on the show, give your opinions, think about what you have to say. Let Aditya just give us a quick review of everything that happened, especially today with regards to the IPL. It's a historical day in IPL cricket.
Words can't express the sort of emotion that I'm feeling right now, because we've just had an incredible game between the Mumbai Indians and Kings 11 Punjab, where 2 super overs were needed to decide who would emerge victorious from this contest. It was incredible stuff. I don't have words to describe how crazy it got towards the end. So just to recap the game, Mumbai Indians batted first. They made 176 for 6 on the back of Quinton de Kock being a very mature 53 or 43. Kieron Pollard just smacking it all over the park, making 34 of 12 balls. In response, Kings 11 Punjab also made 176 for 6, with KL Rahul being the key performer. He made 77 of 52. And Bumrah took 3 wickets for 24 runs. In the first super over, Kings 11 managed just 5 runs for 2 wickets. And in response, the Mumbai Indians made 5 runs and lost the wicket of Quinton de Kock, last ball of that over. Then there was a second super over, in which Mumbai batted first, and they made 11 runs and they lost 1 wicket. And then for Punjab, they had the universe boss coming in, Chris Gale, who smoked Trent Bolt for a 6 first ball, and then Mayank Agarwal sealed it, and they ended up with 15 for no loss.
That's incredible. That's incredible.
And it was insane cricket. It's very hard to tell, who was the better team on the night, but I suppose Kings 11 was marginally better.
Okay, so yeah, we know that, and obviously we can you maybe just give the people a quick recap of the South Africans that also performed well this weekend? Sure. Leave Chris Morris for last so that we can transition smoothly into the Chris Morris debate. Wow, look at that type of production.
Okay, in that case, I'm going to talk about the Chennai Super Kings versus Delhi Capitals game first, which happened in Sharjah yesterday. In Chennai, Super Kings scored 179 for 4, with Mr. Faf du Plessis scoring 58 of 47, with incredible innings, and it was almost a 360 sort of innings because he was hitting the ball to all parts of ground. The highlight for me was the scoop shot he hit of Andrik Nokia for 6 over fine leg. Unbelievable. And KG and Andrik were predictably brilliant. KG 4 overs, 33 runs, 1 wicket, which is outstanding figures for Sharjah, being a small ground, and with KG having conceded 23 over 1 over in his previous game there. And Andrik Nokia 4 overs, 42 runs, 2 wickets. Outstanding bowling. Delhi Capitals, they won with 5 wickets to spare, with Shikhar Dhawan scoring 101 of 58 balls. He was given 4 lives, and I suppose Chennai Super Kings can't really expect to win if you're dropping a batsman 4 times on a small ground and above par, so to score. The other standout game for me was, of course, the Rajasthan Royals versus RCB game. Rajasthan scored 177 for 6. Steve Smith scoring 57. Marks a return to form for him after quite a lot of criticism that he came under. And then we had the RCB chasing that score. And at one point, it looked like they were cruising with Devdutt Padikkal and Virat Kohli batting pretty well. But then with those 2 getting out and the run rate climbing, it almost felt like AB and the rest of the batsmen would have too much to do. At one point, they needed 35 of 12 balls, at which point AB was on strike. Jaydev Unadkat comes in. First 3 balls, all 3 deposited into the stands for 6. and there we go. Match is settled right there, and it was an easy win. Another AV masterclass. Um, since we're talking about Chris Morris, took 4 overs, 26 runs, 4 wickets. Outstanding performance. Standout
What?
bowler for RCB.
So first of all, that
Yes.
with Aditya remembering all those stats, you need to smash that like button, please, because I don't know how he remembered all of that. And then as
We get a
well,
round of applause,
and
please.
guys, please, what you need to do is subscribe for that, because that's unbelievable. Well done for that, Aditya.
Thank you.
I want to ask you, and I'm going to bring Ayanda on the stream now. Welcome to the show. Oh, he's a Liverpool fan.
How's it, guys?
How's it, man? Finally, we
Good,
got you
good. How are
on.
you?
Oh, very good,
Yeah,
man.
man. I've been having
Yeah,
like network issues and stuff, so I think I'm okay today.
that happens in South Africa. That's just part of it, part and parcel of it. Yeah. So Aditya mentioned, and I'm gonna get his opinion now about what he thought was special about Chris Morris. But from what we've said so far, and you're obviously going to tell us, we're talking a lot of the bollocks, some of us. But let me know what you think from your perspective. Why is Chris Morris needs to be considered for obviously the South African side?
Oh, so you're asking me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I feel Chris Morris has played more IPL than both Andile Pitlugoyo and Dwayne Pretorius, and I feel that is more used to the Indian pitches. I think that's where the T20 World Cup is going to be played, right?
In India.
Yeah. So I think he's more used to those pitches, and also he can hit a few balls at the park easily with that much effort, of which Andile Pitlugoyo has struggled with, and Dwayne Pretorius has done it on a few occasions, but looking at their bowling, I think Chris Morris's bowling is better than Dwayne's bowling.
Yeah. So like what we spoke about is, I know you mentioned is Chris Morris's bowling over there. But we also were talking about he's not going to be that general strike bowler for South Africa, we feel, because obviously with other strike bowlers in the side. Do you think his batting is strong enough to be picked as a batsman in that side? Is that a froze? Is he frozen? I think he is. Yep, we're gonna have to kick him quickly from the studio. Ditya, let's ask you quickly, from your perspective, what was special about that innings and his performance? Do you think that those stats flattered him?
So I think one thing that I found in that innings was that he was unrelenting. He was difficult to play, and he just steamed in ball after ball after ball. He's probably the most difficult bowler to get away. And in AB's analysis post-match, he said that how the bowler sort of lost a lot in the middle overs, and how the top order, the first couple of overs in the power play really set the tone for their bowling innings. So that to me was indicative of how good Chris Morris was yesterday. And I think what's also working is that he's got a clear role in this team, as strike bowler. And with Virat Kohli, Simon Catich, and Mike Hesson sort of forming a game plan for him, I think it's giving him clarity of what the team really expects from him, and that's helping him. Because generally we associate Chris Morris with a little bit of inconsistency, and I think we haven't seen a lot of that from him in this IPL. So I think maybe going forward, it's important for teams and team managements to just sort of lay out their expectations for Chris Morris and give him clear direction.
Aditya, Abai, from your point of view, based on what Aditya said, is there a place for Chris Morris? Do you see a place for Chris Morris as that type of role that he plays for RCB? And you can maybe just give your final words before you say cheers to us.
Okay, so I'm going to leave with this much. So first, when it comes to the T20 World Cup, now that we know the venue, we have to start planning accordingly, right? So I think looking at how Chris Morris has done in the IPL so far, I think it's a clear sign of improvement, and I think this is pretty much the selector's moment to bring him back into the thick of things and give him the backing he deserves. Like, for example, he's received a lot of money in the IPL auction because I think teams are aware of his ability. So with similar logic, I think I think he's definitely worth the comeback. I mean, he hasn't announced his retirement from international cricket, so with regards to that, uh, the door is still open for him, and I think just like how I said in the beginning, open-mindedness always pays off. So I'll sign off with that. And those of you who haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe.
Thank you, Bye, for that. You mic drop as usual. Americans do what Americans do. Mic drop. Thank you a lot, Bye, for coming on the stream, and we'll speak to you again soon, bro.
Thank you. Have a good night.
See you, man. Cool. With regards to, I'm gonna bring Talks on again. Let him just have a quick say. Because I can see he's having a little bit of network issues, and we know that that's just part of South Africa. That's just how things go. Before things get all caught up again, let's give your opinion on Chris Morris. Do you see a place for him as that strike bowling type of role that he plays for RCB? Just unmute your mic, bro.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, for me, it does deserve a spot in the South African T20 squad, not only because he proved himself this year in the IPL in Royal Challengers Bangalore, but he also proved himself in the Delhi Chargers. So for me, it does deserve a spot, and he adds, with the bat also. It's a benefit also because it's good with batting, not entirely good, but it adds that balance in terms of the squad, in terms of an all-rounder, and also being a strike bowler in the T20. So yeah, he deserves the spot. Yeah, so I would include him in the T20 squad.
So the question that Lubabalo also brought up is, and we were discussing it earlier on, and we said that with the South African dynamic at the moment, we've got 3 strike bowlers in our side. Three that you can say are really strike bowlers: Lungi, Andrich, and KG. Because you're playing in India, you're going to have to need that extra spinner in the side. Whether they're going to bat 6 or 7 is going to be the question. Because if they're going to bat 6, they need to be a batting spinner. If they're going to bat 7, then they're going to be a spinning batsman. So you need to think of those type of things when you're picking your side. And there's not a lot of spinning batsmen in South African cricket at the moment, I feel. There's more batting spinners, I feel. Like Vian Lubbe is one of them. He's a batting spinner. George Linde also. George Linde is probably the closest between having a bowler and a batter spinner. Like he can do both. I think he's kind of equal with both abilities. Does Chris Morris, I think if you're going to pick a number 7, you're going to have to pick him on his batting ability, I think, alone. I think that's going to have to be, because he's not going to bowl. If you're going to play Andrich Nokia, you're going to play KJ Rabada, and you're going to play Lungi Ngidi in the side, and Imran Tahir, who's going to be one of your main bowlers, he has to bowl 4 overs. All of them bowl 4 overs. So either you have to balance it up by bowling out someone else 2 overs somewhere, and someone else like Lungi Ngidi maybe only has to bowl 2 overs for example, and then Chris Morris is not that strike bowler like he has been for the IPL teams that he's played for. So you're gonna have to pick him on his batting alone. Do you think his batting alone is better than a guy like Dwayne Pretorius or some of the other all-rounders that we have in the side? Talks, it's for you. Can you hear us?
He's on mute.
Yeah, Talks, you on mute. Can you hear us? I don't know if you can hear us. Okay. Can you hear us, Talks? Just say yes or no, nothing. Okay, I'm gonna have to remove you from the stream, bro. Until you sort that out. I don't know what's going on there. Lubabalo, let's get into it before you exit the stream. Oh wow! No, this is just how it is. To manage those streams is crazy. I need to get that in. Now, let's go into some of the comments. We had a conversation about this already. We already gave us our opinion on that. I'm gonna ask you from the comments. There's so many. Let's get into some of them. let's go to he says Smuts might be your second spinner. Why do you say no, Lubabal? Let's ask you that.
Okay. Can I go to Ayanda quickly before I come to that comment?
Yeah.
Oh, Ayanda, I think as South Africans we have this mentality that if a bowler is quicker than the other bowler, he's better. That's one thing we need to debunk. Being quicker than someone doesn't mean you're better than them.
Especially in the T20 format.
Exactly. Also, the other thing, it's something I've always been addressing on social media. I speak as a coach. I speak as someone who's had to sit down and select a team. Selection is not always about whether or not you're better than someone. It's about what do you bring to the team that's different? How do you complement the other players with whatever skill set that you have? How do you complete the combinations of the team with your skill sets? What do you bring that's different? So it's not, we don't select, teams aren't selected based on whether, well, he's better than so and so, so he definitely needs to make the team. For example, you might have a team where you need a left-handed batsman, and then you have two batsmen in your franchise team. One averages 45, the other averages 70. But the other one is a right-handed batsman. You need a left-handed batsman. Mind you, the left-handed batsman probably averages 45, and the right-handed batsman probably, let's say, K70 is a lot, let's say about 55. You're not going to go for the right-handed batsman. You have a reason why you want that left-handed batsman there. So it's not always about whether a player is better. It's about combinations. It's like in football, for instance. Sometimes you have someone who's better than the other player. But let's say, for instance, you need a left-footed player. You're gonna pick that left-footed player, even if the other guy who's right-footed is better than them. So I think it's something that we need to try and move away from. Selection is not just about being better; it's about what you bring to the table, how you complement the team, how you complete the combinations. And then to go to that question, to that statement about JJ, for me, I said it a while ago. JJ for me in T20s, it's a no-no. I don't see him batting. I don't see him batting any lower than 4 in T20 cricket. Mind you, your top 4, you already have Faf at 3. You have Queenie opening. You have Temba, who's probably going to open with Queenie. You also have David Miller, who I feel should be batting at 4 right now for SA. But if you have AB coming back, it means now you have AB at 4. So where is JJ going to bat in your top 4? Can he bat 5 for you? No. Can he bat 6? Nope. Can he bat 7? Nope. Why do I say so?
He needs time to settle.
His strike rate is less than 110 in T20 internationals. It's less than 110, and I've watched him bat. He's one of those guys that need time to settle. He needs time to get into it. Also, as a spinner, he's taken just 1 wicket in international cricket for SA in T20. So for me, based on how he's played for SA in T20 internationals, I feel at this point we should be moving away from him. We could try him in the other formats, yeah, no doubt. But in T20s, I feel we're at that point where we can afford to move away from him. Just another point to add with regards to the spinner. Haney can bowl spin, Klassen, because I don't think you need someone that 5th, 6th bowler option. It doesn't have to be someone that can give you 4 overs. If he can give you 2 overs, 2 decent overs, that's all you need. Klassen can give you 2 overs of international cricket of spin. So that's another option. We don't really have to go for guys that we've tried and that have that have failed. But I also feel we need to, in terms of selection, we need to get to a point where we are brave enough to select guys, even if they haven't made their debuts yet. You mentioned George Linde, that's an option. Vian Lube, that's an option. Those are the guys that we can look at. They have the talent. They are of international standards. So we need to get to a point where we back our youngsters. Because this going to and fro, Now we want to go back to AB de Villiers. Now we want to go back to Chris Morris. We have plenty of youngsters. We have promise, they have talent, they have potential. I think we need to get to a point where we say, Chris Morris has played in a T20 World Cup in India. Did we win it? Nope. AB de Villiers has played T20 World Cups for SA. He's played one in India as well. Did we win it? No. So him doing well for RCB, it's good. Yeah, he's good. He's a gun batsman. But he's been there, done that. We haven't won a World Cup. Why are we so convinced that he's on form? He's always been on form in the IPL. Why are we so convinced that now in 2020, just because he retired and now we want him back, we're going to win the World Cup? There's no guarantees. I'd rather risk it with a 20-year-old than risk it with someone who's 33 plus and is tired.
Aditya, that was a mouthful. That also deserves a like, comment, share, subscribe. Smash the like button, notification bell, everything, guys. Smash that like button so we can get into feeds. Aditya, what are your thoughts on what Lubabalo said there?
See, I think there's one key element that we're missing in the entire conversation around what team should be playing, and that is fielding. Because in India we've got small grounds, we've got due. Experience and good fielding will be essential to winning the tournament. The best fielding team will win the tournament. And I think if we have an example from the 2017-18 series between South Africa and India, where South Africa played a largely inexperienced team. That wasn't a particularly great fielding team. So, having guys like Faf, AB, Chris Morris, who's been a gun fielder, he's effected a wonderful game-changing run-out in this season. I think that's going to be vitally important for South Africa going forward. The other thing is, I think we're talking about selection generally, and to me, what's happened in previous World Cups is that I think they just haven't got batting positions right. In my view, Quinton de Kock and Faf should be opening the batting for South Africa. AB de Villiers should be coming in at 3, David Miller at 4, and then Chris Morris at 6 or 7, and then whatever we're looking for at 5 and 6. I think that's important because you want to have your best and most experienced players playing in the top 3, and we should remember that it's not uncommon for spinners to be bowling in the first 6 overs in India. Ravi Ashwin has done it a number of times with great success, and we see it now with Washington Sundar and Akshar Patel as well. So they have seen great success with spinners coming in the first 6 overs and bowling really economically. So guys who have confidence with their ability to hit the spin bowling, that would be Quinton de Kock, Faf, and AB. And so to me, it's a no-brainer to have these 3 in the first 3 batting positions for South Africa.
See, it's like, yeah, Lubabalo.
Just one thing. I share a common sentiment with AD there, but I also think as much as we want to have those guys at the top, we also need to consider where guys are most effective. That's one thing I always look at. AB de Villiers at 3 T20 cricket for SA, he's hardly been effective. That's actually one of the positions where he's batted the most for us. He only averages 25, and I think his strike rate is about 131. I think we also, as much as I agree, experience is very important, but I think we need to be honest with ourselves. AB has played T20s for SA, and that's one format where he struggled in international cricket. They tried him at opening, they tried him at 2, they tried him at 3, they tried him at 4. It just didn't seem to work out. So for me, I don't see how it's going to work out now. And I don't see a guy like Chris Morris being able to bat in the top 6, maybe at 7, but probably when you need quick runs. What happens when you need him to, can he bat with the tail, for instance? What happens when you need someone who's going to come and just take those singles? You don't need a lot of quick runs, but you need to get there. You have a few runs that you need to get. You have time. Can you do that? that's another point that I think that's another part of his game that's missing when you compare him to a guy like Dwayne Pretorius, who can play as a batsman.
Yeah, so that's why I don't necessarily agree with Ayanda with your statement over here when you say that Morris, when you're talking about the level of batting with Dwayne, I think that Dwayne's a superior batter to Morris. I think he's shown it in all formats for his franchise as well. Not only with regards to the white ball cricket. That's why I think the decision needs to be made based on their batting abilities. I don't think that because it's all about balance of the side, conditions, and all of those type of things. Morris is doing well at the moment as a strike bowler for RCB because they've lacked that over the last couple of years. That's the one thing that they really lacked, and that's where you can risk a couple of runs. You can bowl a little bit inconsistent in the strike when you need to, because you're bowling at times when the batsmen are under pressure, looking for runs and searching for runs. If he's going to come into the Proteas side, I think he's going to be more of a holding role. I don't think he's going to take that striking ability away from a guy like Andrich, Kagiso Rabada, etc., etc. What's your say on that, Aditya? Do you think that Morris has the ability to be able to play like a holding type of role for South Africa as a bowler?
See, that's difficult to tell right now because, as you said very correctly, that KG, Andrik, and Lungi are probably going to be the strike bowlers. That being said, I think people learn over time. I know that Chris Morris has been sort of criticized for his inconsistency, but I think he would do well if he's given a specific role in the team. That obviously works within the skill set that he's honed for himself. So I honestly don't know if he can do a holding role. I don't know. We haven't seen him do that in T20 cricket in recent times. Certainly I haven't. But I do think that there's a place for him as a batsman and a fielder. And I do think that South Africa should consider him at least in the squad of 15, if not the playing 11, because then, one or two spots are always up for grabs, based on the opposition and matchups and all that. I also have one more thing to add. I think Keshav Maharaj should be included in the squad because he's an accurate metronome sort of bowler and he can be useful with the bat. And since you were talking about having a spinning batsman at number 7 or 8, I think he would bring fantastic balance to the side.
That's an interesting one. I think that is an interesting one. He's shown that he can bat as well. It's so tough to think of how a selector must pick a side and balance the side out. I mean, everything that we're going to say is going to be controversial.
Yeah.
Lubabalom, let's make it. I think we've basically covered everything that we can with regards to both sides. From your perspective, let's just leave the fans with something to think about before we end the stream.
For me, I agree with AD as well. I think we can afford to have Chris Morris in the squad. We can afford to have the 3 all-rounders in the squad, actually. Chris Morris, Dwayne Pretorius, and Andile Phehlukwayo. But as far as the spinner is concerned, I think it's still a tough one. But we know how when it comes to selection for World Cups, you can sort of predict the squad that South Africa is going to pick. I don't know, but I think Imran Tahir and Shamsi, they're the 2 spinners that the selectors might pick. But for me, as I said before, I want us to get to a point where we see potential, we see talent, we see a player that performs. We don't necessarily look at players that we've used before. I made an example in that I think it was the 2000 the last World Cup that we had. I said there were players that we've taken to World Cups, more than 1 World Cup, more than 2 World Cups, but they had never performed. So for me, it was, do you continue to pick players that you've been picking to World Cups that have not performed, or do you get to a point where you say, listen, there's a youngster here, he's never played a World Cup before, but he's scoring runs, he's taking wickets. How about I risk it with the youngster? Because this Bra is experienced, yes. He's tried and tested, but in World Cups he struggles. As much as he does well in your bilateral series, but when it comes to World Cups now, he struggles. I want us to get to a point where the way we play our cricket, the way we select is not that we're trying to be too defensive. I've seen other countries pick youngsters that have not played in a World Cup before. So I think we need to bring in that element of bravery in terms of selection. Because I've seen a guy like Bjorn Fortuin, for instance. He's a quality T20 spinner. Like you said, spinners open nowadays. He can bowl anywhere in an innings, in a T20 innings. That's also a guy we can look at having in the side. A guy that can support your strike bowlers, because he doesn't necessarily take wickets. He's just a smart bowler. He backs the other bowlers in the team. So mine is, I'd like to see us get to that point where we are brave enough to take chances with the youngsters instead of taking chances with guys that might retire in the next 2 years or so.
That's a great way to end it. Aditya, unless you have something else to say to end it off?
Yes, I just have one thing to say, and that is, imagine a scenario where South Africa is batting, they need 50 runs in 25 balls, and you have India bowling. Jasprit Bumrah is bowling. Would Jasprit Bumrah prefer bowling to an inexperienced South African player who hasn't really played international cricket, or would he rather bowl to AB de Villiers? And I think that's a question for the South Africans to think, because yesterday, after AB played that fantastic knock against the Rajasthan Royals, Virat Kohli said that, I don't think it's always about the runs that AB makes. Sometimes his presence is enough to intimidate the opposition. And I think that's what happened with young Jaydev Unadkat. So I understand the case for blooding youngsters into the team and exploring their potential. But in a World Cup, I think when you have the presence of AB de Villiers and Faf du Plessis, I think it has an impact on the rest of the team as well. And it also has an impact on opposition teams, because they'd be more worried. Do you really want to bowl to Faf du Plessis and AB de Villiers and Quinton de Kock in the top three? I don't think so. Most teams would say no.
So my question is then to the public, because of this is about Morris, will they fear Chris Morris when they see him in that situation? Because that's very seldom, that's possible that could happen with South Africa. 50 of 20 balls, 25 balls. Will they fear Chris Morris when he walks out to the middle? That's my question now to leave for the fans. I think that the batting side of things is where things are leaning towards when you're going to pick Chris Morris or not in the side. I think that's basically what my opinion is, and I think some of people's opinions are that as well. It's easy to just say, yeah, select him and just select this 11 and this 15. But I want guys to go away and really think about it. Think about the conditions. Think about the balance in the side. Think about the two spinners. Think about who's going to bowl how many overs in your match. Who's going to be your strike bowlers? Who's going to bowl at your death? Who's going to bowl the middle overs? Think about what combinations are you going to bowl, whether there's going to be a left arm, right arm combination, etc., etc., etc. Think about those things. Let us know in the comment section below. Don't forget to, of course, obviously like, comment, share, subscribe. Click the notification bell. Click the notification bell for all future videos. Don't forget to download the latest issue of the magazine. The link is on the screen. In the description, you will get access to all. If you subscribe now, you'll get access to all the previous issues as well. So go ahead and do that. And if you guys want to come on future streams, the links will always be in the description for you guys to just click on to join the show. Make sure that you're wearing headphones and make sure that your connection is decent, because otherwise we're going to have incidences like we had tonight with some of the guys freezing on screen, and you don't really want that vibe with your first appearance on the show. So thanks a lot, guys, for watching. Thanks a lot, Aditya. Thanks a lot, Lubabalo. See you again very soon. Take care, everybody, and stay safe. Cheers.
Yes.